me a ghost story that sounds completely unbelievable but is entirely true.
So my friend one night drinking decides we're at his house and we're going to play the Ouija board at 3 something in the freaking morning. You know how this went. Anyways, way back then, I was in my early 20s. I wasn't really sure about that stuff. Of course, in my mind, it's like, I'm going to conjure up a demon. So that's my whole thought process. My friend's like, oh, man, don't do that. This stuff's real, man. And I'm like, oh, all right. What's your name? All this stuff, blah, blah, blah. Of course, in my mind, I think I'm going to conjure up a demon. I want to see if this stuff's real. And it's sad stories that seem unreal, and this seems really unreal, but maybe it is related. Maybe what the rest of stuff I'm about to tell you is or isn't related. I don't know. I'll let you decide. So, right after that, weird things started happening with my truck. Like, my headlights quit working for some reason. I couldn't drive at night with them on my truck. And then, this truck that's only 5 years old, the brake line mysteriously breaks with me and him going down a hill in it. So that was terrifying. It may or may not be related. I don't know. It depends on what you want to believe. And then one day, now this is the ice taker. Like, I didn't even believe this, but as years passed, I couldn't believe that this story is true from his point. He got married. He was dating a girl, and he got married about that time. And they had moved into this apartment. They had 2 kids. I think the kids were like 5 or 6 at the time, a boy and a girl. And anyways, and a friend calls me and tells me, hey, Scott, that was his name, they got ran out of their apartment. What happened was that supposedly they were sitting on the couch. She got all frozen. Something said on her lap, said, you look a lot like my ex-girlfriend. Let's kill him. And then they were freaked out, and they both could hear whatever it was talking. And then suddenly in the hallway, there was a loud voice that said, get out. Now, the kids heard this, and for years they went on and they maintained that this did happen and told that exact story. Now, they were like 5 and 6 years old, and as teenagers, they could tell you this story, and that was kind of freaky. I think about then, I kind of believed it was true. They also had dishes or whatever pulled out of the cabinet and stuff, and they left that night and went to stay with his mom, and they never went back to that apartment again. But, that's the short form of that story.